The internet is keeping you single. Let me say this slowly, because this is not an attack. This is not bitterness. This is not a man versus woman. This is about ideas. Ideas shape behavior. Behavior shapes outcomes, and outcomes do not lie. Think about that. We're living in a time where most people don't think anymore. They absorb. They scroll through the internet. They nod. They repeat. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, podcasts, clips that cut into 30 seconds of outrage or empowerment. This is the modern monastery. This is where values are taught on the internet. And what's being taught over and over and over again is not neutrality. It's ideology. Here are some of the messages being repeated now. You don't need a man. Men are liabilities. If he wants to go 50-50, he is not a real man. A real man should accept a woman with multiple kids without question. If you have a boyfriend or a husband, you should be embarrassed. Marriage is a trap. Men are sorry. These aren't fringe ideas anymore. These are mainstream talking points. And when ideas become mainstream, they stop being opinions and start being social pressure. Now, here's the part people don't want to hear. Most of these messages are not coming from men. They're coming from other women. And that's not a moral judgment. That's an observational fact. It's a pattern. Ancient philosophy already explained this. In Greek thought, there's a concept called mimesis. People copy the behavior and beliefs of those around them to avoid social punishment. Simple. So let me say this in plain English. People adopt beliefs to stay accepted. So if the dominant voice in your environment says relationships are embarrassing, independence means isolation, and men are optional at best, then choosing love becomes an act of rebellion. And rebellion has consequences. There are some societies in ancient Africa where women did not discourage partnership or marriage. They managed it. Elders guided younger women toward discernment, not suspicion, toward cooperation, not contempt. Because those societies understood something modern culture pretends not to see. Pair bonding stabilizes communities. When pair bonding collapses, everything else follows. Everything. So let's talk about modern contradictions. On one hand, the internet says you don't need a man. On the other hand, it shames men for not paying for everything, not being providers, not stepping up. You can't say I don't need a man or I don't need you, period. And then say you're sorry if you don't sacrifice everything. That contradiction alone filters men out. Not toxic men, not abusive men. We're not talking about those guys. Men who opt out of being resented. Now let's talk about the 50-50 thing. The idea that a man wanting partnership, cooperation, shared responsibility somehow makes him lesser is brand new in human society, very new. Ancient marriages were not luxury arrangement at first. They were survival contracts. Both people worked. Both people contributed. The modern idea that equality equals weakness is not ancient wisdom. It's algorithm wisdom. It keeps people angry, divided, and alone. Perfect for engagement metrics. Perfect for it. Your numbers rise when you be controversial. And now there's this new idea circulating. If you have a boyfriend or a husband, it's embarrassing. Now think about the upside down part of this. For thousands of years, being chosen, building households, creating stability was honored. Now, commitment itself is treated like a flaw. Not because relationships suddenly stop working, but because single voices dominate the conversation. And here's the uncomfortable truth. People rarely promote paths that they failed on. They promote paths that justify their current position. That's human nature. Ancient Stoics in Europe warned about this exact thing. They said advice is never neutral. It is always contains emotion. It always contains condition of that speaker who's speaking. So when someone says men aren't worth it, that's not sociology. That's autobiography. And when autobiography gets repeated by thousands of people online, it becomes collective ideology. Now let's look at these outcomes. Divorce rates are high, marriage rates are down, loneliness is up for men and women. Those are not opinions, those are numbers. If the ideas were working, the outcomes were reflected. They don't. This is why women keep other women single. Not intentionally, not maliciously, but structurally. Maybe intentionally, maybe maliciously, but structurally. Because social rewards, they punish partnership and reward detachment. You get praise for independence. You get applause for not needing anyone. You get validation for walking away, but very little encouragement for staying, building, repairing, and choosing. And men feel this. Men feel when they are viewed as disposable, embarrassing, or optional, so they adapt. They go overseas, they disengage, they opt out. They stop trying to meet standards that come with contempt attached to it. And then the same culture asks, where are the men? They're not going. They're not approaching women anymore. They're uninvited. Men are uninvited. Ancient wisdom never taught hatred between sexes. It taught balance. It taught polarity. It really taught polarity. It taught cooperation. It warned that when societies turn partnership into a battlefield, everyone loses. So let me be very, very clear. It's not about blaming women. It's not about challenging ideas that don't work. It's about challenging ideas that don't work. It's about that. If a belief produces loneliness, resentment, and instability at scale, it deserves scrutiny, not applause, people. Women don't need men to survive anymore. That part is true, but not needing someone is not the same as not wanting connection. And a culture that teaches people to be ashamed of love should be questioned. Because here's the final truth, ancient and modern. No society has ever thrived on isolation. And no algorithm will ever replace real partnership. That's not being bitter. It's not bitterness. That's reality.